Welcome back to CT's Gotta Have 'Em Reviews. And after quite some time, and I apologize for the delay, right behind me, you'll see that 2023 Tesla Model Y 7-seater, long range, white on black interior with the standard Gemini wheels. And I'm just gonna come out and say it. The delivery was a complete shit show. And this is in Toronto. And it was just the worst experience in terms of delays. My pregnant wife and I were there till 3 hours. We were expecting to be in and out of there in 15 minutes, but it was really, really bad. So I'm not gonna waste any time. This is the 2023 Tesla Model Y. I ordered it back on February 20th, and to my surprise, I actually ended up getting a 2023 model Tesla Y instead of the 2022. And I'm so glad that my car kept getting pushed back, because the 2023 is definitely far different than I've ever imagined from driving the 2022 and the 2021 models. You remember how I informed you guys in my prior videos that you should test drive your car a few times. And I'm so glad that I did, because I was able to know and feel the difference in both how the vehicle looked and drove. The suspension is so much better in terms of smoothness and overall ride handling that I was completely shocked. The noise level in the 2023 to me is a huge difference. Huge difference in the sense that it was a lot more quiet. It is definitely a better ride handling. And for me, I remember driving the 2021 and the 2022 model and not being completely happy with the amount of noise that the vehicle was getting. So right now, I'm just going to do something that most people don't do. I'm going to shut up and just shoot the video of just showing you the vehicle. So here you go. Here you go. So there's plenty of trunk space in the 7-seater, even though you lose a little bit of space in comparison to the 5-seater. I still feel like there's plenty of room overall. So lifting up these seats is no joke. It's actually pretty tough. So you notice I can't really pull on here, so you really have to struggle to bring it up. Now, because I have those seats up, it makes it hard. So you just push these buttons and it just drops down. Now, you will have to have the front seat up further to be able to do this. One thing I did notice was that in the 2023 model, I felt as if the space between the second row and the third row is actually less. And I don't know if that's just me, but my wife and I were just a little bit confused about that because, you know, initially we felt like there was at least a little bit more leg room where my wife and I were able to sit comfortably to a certain degree. So this is with the 7-seater up, so the third row. Now, if I close the trunk space, you'll note that there's still quite a bit of space in underneath here, which is awesome because that adds extra depth in the trunk, right? So you're able to get a lot more space in there, I felt like. So definitely worthwhile for me. Again, the third row is just sort of emergency. If I need it, the button is right here. You press it and it goes down. Now, the third row, as you see right now, there's not a lot of space. Like, there's no way you can get an adult or a kid's feet down there. So we're gonna have to kind of bring up these seats. So what I've done here is actually, as you can see, I've shifted the passenger seat quite a bit ways forward to allow for a little bit more leg room in the back there. So what you'll notice now is a child can comfortably sit here. Me being 6 feet tall, 210 pounds, I mean, I need that leg room. But in all honesty, I can get by in a pinch just by simply moving the seat forward a little bit. I don't need that much space. And you can also bring it down. I think I am comfortable right there. So that allows whoever's sitting back here some comfortable leg room, and the little ones can still sit back here with enough leg room, right? So there's space there for kids. And simply put, when my wife and I looked at this, in the 2023 model, we felt like this spacing it seems a bit smaller to me, to be honest, but small price to pay. Most of the time, you know, we're not going to be using that 7-seater, so I'm not all too worried about it, but there you go. I did not get the new seats where they extended the second row base wider like they did in, higher, not wider, in China. So that was definitely not there. Both seats have pockets, very tight pockets, but they're suede door panels, carpeted inside as well in the rear. I think the emergency hatch door release is right there, and you gotta pull that tab up. All right, so that's not the actual release, so they've added that. If you notice in the front, you remember the door trim, the dash trim continues into the door trim. I wanted that so bad, guys. I wanted that so bad, and I'm so happy that is actually available in the 2023 model that I received, which is the long range. So Tesla customer service was definitely wrong that it was only being delivered in California. This is proof that Canadians also have a really good chance in getting this model. And I think for the 2023 model, at least for the long range, you will get that continuation of the actual dash trim, and I love it. It's sort of like real wood almost. I think it's real wood, to be honest. This armrest is amazing when you're driving as well as this. I think Tesla did a phenomenal job in being able to hug the driver as you drive. The front Frunk, I mean, it's really nice to have. Nothing fancy. I've used it for like takeout food and things of that nature. It's pretty deep, I'm not gonna lie. It's a nice feature to have. Nothing fancy in there. You guys have seen many videos on vehicles where they go into great lengths. So to finish off the exterior, I just wanted to kind of show you some more videos of it. I'm just going to try to fold this in here so you're able to close the frunk. So the mat's in. Now with the front frunk, what you want to do, there's 2 clicks. Till you get used to it, I suggest you put 2 hands on either side, but I've learned 1, 2, that's it, just dead center. So that's it here. I didn't get the new matrix lights, but these lights are phenomenal. There's also fogs there. It's actually pretty bright, believe it or not. It's actually pretty bright. So the reason why I said this was a complete shit show for the delivery, my car had like so many issues. They had like paint scratch here that they used sort of paint filler, touch-up paint, and that they fixed it, corrected it. Right away, I will tell you this, I do have a service appointment. The back piece here, this height, this actual distance between the right side and the driver's side, the left side, it's a lot less on this side and it's a lot greater on that side. And there was a whole bunch of people there picking up their vehicles, and the individual was saying, nope, that's how they're all made. Well, I didn't accept that. I did not accept that. I wasn't happy with that. And I went to the service center that they sent me to right behind the dealership, and I was able to get that taken care of. My panel back here, it's called a diffuser. It actually had scratches at the time of pickup. So they're actually changing this, and there was another scratch somewhere here. So this complete diffuser panel is being replaced. On the vehicle, the rear tail light, if you notice that it sticks out like this, here, I'll show you a better angle. This is normal, okay? So I was actually scared because I know a thing or two about vehicles. I thought the water was gonna go into the lights, but how they engineered it, the water runoff is just going to come down here, run off to the bottom, and it just sort of comes out down here and out here. So that's the way they engineered it. So you don't need to worry about that all too much. I had a couple of issues with the interior, and they just came and cleaned it out. I did book a service appointment to have one of these panels looked at. So you got to be careful, because I don't know if you can tell, but you see those like kind of markings there? Well, it's I think when they try to do the detailing, you'll see those little blemishes here, and I wasn't too happy with that. I'm filming in UHD 60 frames per second, so I believe you can actually see that on camera where I'm pointing to right there. So definitely, you know, pay close attention to that. You know, you paid a lot of money for this car. I was there for 3 hours. I'm going to be honest, I'm very anal. So I nitpicked everything. I wanted it perfect, and that's not going to happen. And I'm telling you that right now. Perfect does not exist with Tesla. The service, the customer service was horrendous. It was horrendous. You know, they think they're doing you a favor by delivering the vehicle, right? And at the end of the day, we're spending top dollar for this vehicle, and everyone there leaving with their vehicle was completely, utterly disappointed and dissatisfied in some way, shape, or form. So take your time when you're at the dealership, right? Take your time. But the vehicle is amazing, guys. It's absolutely amazing. I've already put about 2,000, 3,000 kilometers on it since November 5th when I picked it up. So I've been putting it to good use. And just out here, for 1,000 kilometers, I spent about $8 on gas. On electricity, based on my municipality's calculations. Absolutely stunning. Excuse the vehicle being a bit dirty, but Tesla is actually, and also just to show you really quick, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is the actual PPF, paint protection film, that's coming out of the factory. In Canada, we get mud flaps, but apparently they're on back order and they're sending it out as they receive them. Welcome back. So I'm just going to give you my honest experience. as I've done throughout all my videos. And I just hope this will ease some of the excitement and anticipation, and not to, get overly excited and forget about things that you should, look out for. And the reason why I am sort of doing this video now is to sort of share my experience. So we showed up there super excited. You know me, right? I've done lots of research. I'm sort of know everything I needed to do. I had a checklist, a digital checklist. So we arrived. It took us like 20 to 30 minutes to do the paperwork. And we had a number of people helping us. So it wasn't even like one person doing the paperwork. And then we reviewed the paperwork. Interest rate was good. All that was fine. We signed the paper. We go out to the vehicle, and it looks nice. But right away, I see like some scratch marks in the back. I saw the panel gaps, and I saw some areas with like scuff marks, and it just like saddened me right away. But I'm like, oh, okay. And I'll tell you right away, they're delivering cars in Toronto at least every 15 minutes, and there's no joke. There was a ton of cars, and more cars were coming out of the detail shop, filling up the lots, and people weren't leaving. So it was getting packed, and the detailing shop inside was getting backed up. Customer service at this location, I gotta say, is piss poor. It's terrible. The manager there was new on her at her job, and she was nowhere to be found. The GM, the general manager, was nowhere around. It was his off day. And even then, even afterwards, when I complained about my whole experience, they don't care. There's no such thing as compensation. I think the demand for Tesla vehicles is so high that they're okay with not making every customer happy. At the end of the day, I'll tell you this: do not leave until you're happy. And what I mean by that is point out everything. you know, right away they tell you, oh, do a service appointment, do a service appointment. Well, I'm like, I'm here to pick up my vehicle, and it is not up to, certain level of standard that I would expect from a 90 or $100,000 car, let alone any car that I purchase. You'd be assigned an individual, they take care of it. But when I went there, my wife was pregnant, and she was going back to my other vehicle to sit down and rest because she couldn't stand anymore. There were two girls running around like chickens with their heads cut off, trying to respond to the number of people, that had a lot of questions and a lot of struggles in terms of getting into the vehicles as well. And I'll tell you what, when you go and sign off on your paperwork, the agent that you have, the sales advisor, they need to do something on their end, on the back end, to allow you to take over control with your cell phone. In my case, even though we signed off the paperwork, the essay that we had, he hadn't done that. And what he didn't do was he didn't accept payment that we gave him, which was a bank draft. So long story short, we had another essay that came out, and I just started nitpicking everything. I was like, this is, and when I say nitpicking, I was a little bit of a-hole on some things, and maybe I was too anal on some things, but for the most part, like not wiping down certain areas, black streak marks that looked like scratches to me. I'm rubbing it and it's greasy and things like that. End of the day, they took it in. They were nice. They cleaned it for me. The workers they're top notch, but management is shit. And I'm going to just say that straightforward to you. And another thing, I went there ready to film everything and just document, and vlog my entire experience. I didn't have time to do that. And the reason being is there was a lot of issues. And I didn't just have one person to speak to. I was speaking to multiple people trying to, make me happy and trying to deliver this car in a certain level of standard. So that being said, I've had the vehicle now since November 5th, and I love it. I love the purchase. It's, you know, saving me a ton of money on gas, which my wife and I expected, and that's the reason we forked out the kind of money that we did for this car. It is very safe, very sturdy, and it's just a wonderful investment. If you can look past the crappy customer service, don't expect that. The service team, on the other hand, the service team in Toronto, that dealership, there's one on rail side, it's right behind them, and they were outstanding. That service team, shout out to MJ from Tesla Service. Amazing, amazing service. He actually cared enough to give me a charger. He said he's gonna have to charge me for it, but he gave me one because I live in the middle of nowhere. I want to be able to charge my car, right? So I was really kind of like freaked out that I'm not going to be able to charge my car. And you've got 160 kilometers to report all your damages and issues that you have with the vehicle. And I'll let you know right away, make sure before you leave the dealership, if you see anything, you open a service ticket and document a repair at your nearest service center on a specific date. As long as you've logged at least one repair, that shows them, okay, you've got an issue and you've started documenting things before you hit the 160 kilometers. I hit the 160 kilometers the very first day. So I actually ended up going to the service dealership, documenting a whole bunch of things, and they told me, look, you've come here personally. So I urge all Torontonians, if you're picking up at that dealership, I suggest you go right behind to the service dealership. Go speak to someone there, manually book an appointment, point out some of the flaws that you have. They have to order the parts. 80% of the time, they do not have any of these replacement parts in stock. They will have to order them to bring it into the dealership for you to come back. So imagine my pregnant wife and I, she's 36 weeks. I'm expecting to go get a perfect mint brand new car. No scratches, no issues, no damage, no panel gaps. I mean, I'm not asking for too much, right? 3 hours. 3 hours talking to people, like, begging them. I was begging them to clean and do certain things, right? Another thing, I told them to remove the hubcaps as well so I could see the rims behind just in case, because I didn't trust them. I didn't trust them to do a good job. I didn't trust them that they would give me a perfect car, because seeing all these little issues really, really scared me. So I spend my time. So a couple of tips: take your time, go through everything with the vehicle. You may not have the help right away, but if you're unable to log in with your phone, chances are they have to do something first. Once you get into the vehicle, you will have to sign off on the vehicle. However, if you don't want to take delivery, which obviously you're not going to do, but if you don't want to take delivery, you can just reject it at that point. However, you do have to sign off on it in the office before you go look at the car. That being said, like I said, so you want to make sure you take your time and go through everything. Ignore the 15 minutes and just go through the entire vehicle. Emergency lights, steering, USB ports. I plugged in all the Type C USB ports to make sure they charge. The cigarette lighter, make sure you take something to test that as well. My window, in some cases, when I roll it up, it doesn't seem to want to go up. Like, it'll come back down, and it's weird. I know it's got those auto button features, but sometimes it doesn't want to go all the way up. So I tested as much as I could, but honestly, once I started putting service tickets in, I just got tired, and at that point my wife was tired, I was tired, I was hungry. We basically just took the car because we knew we were going to keep it, right? We're not going to reject it. I created all the service tickets at that one location. It's booked in for November 26th. I'm going to take it in, get it all looked at, and that's it. So tip wise, take your time. That's the only advice you need to have, is take your time when you're at the dealership to make sure that there's nothing wrong with the vehicle in terms of scratches on the paint, scratches around the vehicle, because those kind of things, they can easily blame you once you've taken the vehicle off the lot, right? So that is something you want to pay attention to. That's it. See you on the next video.